Have you ever felt that your dreams were too big for the life you were born into? Have you ever wanted to give up because everything around you seemed impossible? What if the hardest day of your life became the beginning of your greatest journey? Stay with me until the end, because today's story will show you that hope, courage, and kindness can change a person's future forever. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Horizon. Today, you will listen to a beautiful and inspiring story called The Girl Who Believed in Tomorrow. This is an original story about a young girl who refuses to lose hope, even when life becomes very difficult. As you listen, you will improve your English naturally through simple sentences, useful vocabulary, and an unforgettable story. So relax, listen carefully, and enjoy the journey. Many years ago, in a small village surrounded by green hills, there lived a young girl named Lily. The village was quiet and peaceful. Small houses stood beside narrow roads, and beautiful flowers grew in many gardens. Every morning, people woke up early to work in the fields. Children walked together to the village school, laughing and talking along the way. But Lily's life was different. She lived with her grandmother in a tiny wooden house at the edge of the village. The house was old. During the winter, the cold wind came through the small cracks in the walls. A crack is a small opening or broken line in something. Although they had very little money, Lily and her grandmother always shared what they had with others. Lily's grandmother often smiled and said, "A kind heart is worth more than a pocket full of gold." Lily never forgot those words. Every evening, after finishing her work, she climbed a small hill behind her house. She sat quietly under an old oak tree and watched the sun slowly disappear behind the mountains. She believed that every sunrise brought a new chance. Even when today was difficult, tomorrow could always be better. And that simple belief would soon change her life forever. Chapter 1. A Dream Bigger Than the Village. Every morning, Lily woke up before the sun. She cleaned the small house, brought water from the village well, and helped her grandmother prepare breakfast. A well is a deep hole in the ground where people get water. After finishing her work, Lily hurried to school with a small backpack. The backpack was old and faded. Some books inside had torn pages, but Lily took great care of them. To her, every book was a treasure. A treasure is something very valuable. Lily loved learning. She listened carefully to every lesson and always asked questions. Her favorite subject was English. She dreamed of speaking English fluently one day. She imagined talking to people from different countries, reading famous books, and traveling around the world. But not everyone believed in her dream. Some children laughed at her. "Why are you studying so hard?" One boy asked. "You are poor. Dreams don't change anything." The other children laughed. Lily felt hurt. For a moment, she wanted to cry. But she remembered her grandmother's words. Never let someone else's opinion become your future. So Lily smiled softly and continued walking. That afternoon, after school, she visited the small village library. It was an old building with wooden shelves filled with dusty books. A shelf is a flat place where books or other things are kept. The librarian was an elderly woman with kind eyes. She noticed that Lily borrowed books every week. "You really love reading," the librarian said with a smile. Lily nodded. "Books help me see a bigger world," she replied. The librarian smiled warmly. "Then never stop reading," she said. "You never know which page might change your life." Lily carefully chose another English storybook. As she walked home, she held it close to her heart. She didn't know it yet, but the next morning, something unexpected was waiting for her. Chapter 2. The Mysterious Letter. The next morning, the sky was clear and the air felt fresh. Small birds sang in the trees, and the village slowly came to life. Lily picked up her empty basket and walked toward the market. On the way, she noticed something lying beside the road. It was an old white envelope. An envelope is a paper cover used to hold a letter. Lily looked around. There was no one nearby. She gently picked it up. On the front, only 2 words were written. "For you." Lily was surprised. She carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a small letter written in neat handwriting. It said, "Dear Dreamer, if you are reading this letter, never stop believing in tomorrow. Life will test your courage many times. People may laugh at your dreams. Some days you will feel tired. Some days you will feel alone. But remember, every strong tree was once a small seed. Keep learning. Keep helping others. Keep moving forward. One day, your kindness and your hard work will open doors that today seem impossible. Believe in tomorrow. Someone who once had the same dream. Lily read the letter again. Then she read it one more time. She did not know who had written it, but every word touched her heart. She carefully folded the letter and placed it inside her school notebook. From that day on, whenever she felt afraid or discouraged, she read the letter again. It reminded her that hope is strongest when life feels hardest. As she continued walking toward the market, she noticed an elderly man struggling to carry 2 heavy bags. Without thinking, Lily ran over. "May I help you?" she asked politely. The old man smiled. "Thank you, my child." Together, they carried the bags all the way to his small house. Before Lily left, the man looked at her with grateful eyes. "Kindness always finds its way back," he said softly. Lily smiled, not knowing that this simple act of kindness would soon change her life in a way she could never imagine. Chapter 3. A door opens. The following week, life in the village continued as usual. Lily went to school every day. She helped her grandmother every evening, and before going to bed, she always read a few pages from her English books. Little by little, her English became better. She learned new words every day and practiced speaking them aloud. One afternoon, her teacher entered the classroom with an exciting announcement. "Students," he said with a smile, "next month there will be an English speech competition in our town. A competition is an event where people try to win by showing their skills. The winner will receive a full scholarship to one of the best schools in the city. A scholarship is money or support that helps someone study." The classroom became noisy. Everyone started talking. Lily's heart began to beat faster. This was the opportunity she had always dreamed about. But then she looked at her old clothes and worn-out shoes. She quietly lowered her head. "Maybe someone like me can't win," she whispered to herself. After school, she walked home silently. Her grandmother noticed that something was wrong. "What happened, Lily?" she asked gently. Lily told her everything. She explained about the competition and the scholarship. Then she said, "Grandmother, I want to try, but I'm afraid I will fail." Her grandmother held Lily's hands and smiled. "My dear," she said, "brave people are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who keep trying, even when they are afraid." Lily felt a little stronger. That night, she stood under the old oak tree behind her house. She looked at the bright stars in the sky. Then she took the mysterious letter from her notebook. She read the last sentence once again. "Believe in tomorrow." She closed her eyes. "I will try," she whispered. "I don't know what will happen, but I will not give up." Far away, someone was watching Lily from the village road. The person smiled quietly, as if they already knew that Lily's journey had only just begun. Chapter 4. The Secret Mentor. The days passed quickly. Every afternoon after school, Lily practiced her English speech. She stood in front of a small mirror inside her house. Sometimes she spoke confidently. Sometimes she forgot the words. Sometimes she made mistakes and started again. But every day, she became a little better. A mentor is a person who guides and teaches someone. One evening, while Lily was practicing under the old oak tree, she heard someone clapping. She turned around. It was the elderly man she had helped at the market. He smiled kindly. "Your English is improving," he said. Lily was surprised. "You remember me?" "Of course," the old man replied. Kindness is not easy to forget. He introduced himself as Mr. Daniel. Many years ago, he had been an English teacher in the city. After retiring, he moved to the quiet village. "I heard about the speech competition," he said. "If you want, I can help you practice." Lily's eyes filled with happiness. "Really?" Mr. Daniel nodded. Every great journey becomes easier when someone walks beside you. From that day, they met every evening. Mr. Daniel taught Lily how to pronounce difficult words. A pronunciation is the correct way to say a word. He showed her how to speak slowly, smile naturally, and make eye contact with her audience. At first, Lily was nervous. Her voice shook whenever she spoke. But Mr. Daniel never became impatient. Instead, he always said, "Mistakes are not your enemies. They are your teachers." Little by little, Lily's confidence grew. One afternoon, before they finished practicing, Mr. Daniel handed Lily a small notebook. "This belonged to me when I was your age," he said. "It reminds me that dreams only work when we work for them." Inside the notebook, Lily found many beautiful English quotes. On the first page, one sentence was written in large letters. "The future belongs to those who refuse to stop believing." Lily smiled. For the first time in many years, she truly believed that tomorrow might be waiting for her with something wonderful. But neither Lily nor Mr. Daniel knew that on the day of the competition, a challenge would appear that no one expected. Chapter 5. The Day of the Competition. The morning of the competition finally arrived. The sun was shining brightly and the sky was clear. Lily woke up before everyone else. She carefully washed her face, brushed her hair, and wore her cleanest clothes. They were old but neat. She looked at herself in the small mirror and took a deep breath. "I can do this," she whispered. Her grandmother smiled proudly. She gently held Lily's hands and said, "Remember, my child, winning is wonderful, but having the courage to stand up and try is already a victory." Those words gave Lily strength. Soon, Lily and Mr. Daniel traveled to the town hall where the competition was being held. The building was much bigger than anything Lily had ever seen. Students from many different schools had come to compete. Some wore expensive clothes. Others spoke English confidently while waiting for their turn. For a moment, Lily felt small again. She looked down at her worn shoes. Then she remembered the mysterious letter. "Believe in tomorrow." She smiled quietly. One by one, the students walked onto the stage. Some spoke very well. The audience clapped loudly. Finally, the host called, "Next speaker, Lily." Her heart began to race. Her hands felt cold. She slowly walked onto the stage. Hundreds of eyes were looking at her. For a few seconds, she forgot every word. The room became completely silent. Lily wanted to run away. But then she noticed her grandmother smiling in the front row. Next to her stood Mr. Daniel. He simply nodded. That small gesture reminded Lily of everything she had learned. She closed her eyes for one moment, took a deep breath, opened her eyes, and began to speak. Her voice was soft at first, but with every sentence, it became stronger. She spoke about hope. She spoke about kindness. She spoke about believing in tomorrow even when today feels impossible. By the time she finished, the hall was completely silent. Then, suddenly, everyone stood up. The audience filled the room with loud applause. Some people even had tears in their eyes. Lily smiled. For the first time, she realized that believing in herself had been the greatest victory of all. Chapter 6. A New Beginning. The applause continued for several minutes. Lily stood quietly on the stage. She could hardly believe what had just happened. Her hands were still shaking, but this time it was not because of fear. It was because of happiness. All the contestants returned to their seats. The judges left the hall to make their final decision. The room became silent again. Everyone waited patiently. A few minutes later, the judges returned. The head judge walked to the microphone and smiled. "Every student spoke with courage today," he said, "but one speech touched our hearts in a very special way." Lily held her grandmother's hand. Her heart was beating faster than ever. "The winner of this year's English speech competition is..." He paused for a moment. "Lolly!" For a second, Lily could not move. She thought she had heard the wrong name. Then the audience began clapping again. Her grandmother's eyes filled with tears of joy. Mr. Daniel smiled proudly. Lily slowly walked onto the stage once more. The head judge handed her a beautiful certificate and announced that she had received a full scholarship to study in one of the best schools in the city. A certificate is an official document that shows someone has achieved something. Lily looked at the audience. She remembered every difficult day. The old house, the cold winters, the children who laughed at her dreams, the mysterious letter, the long evenings of practice. Every challenge had made her stronger. After the ceremony, many students came to congratulate her. One of the boys who had laughed at her in the village lowered his head. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I didn't believe in you." Lily smiled kindly. "You don't have to be sorry," she replied. "We all make mistakes. What matters is what we learn from them." The boy smiled. That day, Lily understood something important. Success is not about proving other people wrong. It is about becoming the person you always hoped to be. As the sun began to set, Lily, her grandmother, and Mr. Daniel walked home together. The road looked exactly the same as before, but somehow everything felt different. Because sometimes the biggest change does not happen in the world around us. It happens inside our hearts. Chapter 6. A New Beginning. The applause continued for several minutes. Lily stood quietly on the stage. She could hardly believe what had just happened. Her hands were still shaking, but this time it was not because of fear. It was because of happiness. All the contestants returned to their seats. The judges left the hall to make their final decision. The room became silent again. Everyone waited patiently. A few minutes later, the judges returned. The head judge walked to the microphone and smiled. "Every student spoke with courage today," he said, "but one speech touched our hearts in a very special way." Lily held her grandmother's hand. Her heart was beating faster than ever. "The winner of this year's English speech competition is..." He paused for a moment. "Lolly!" For a second, Lily could not move. She thought she had heard the wrong name. Then the audience began clapping again. Her grandmother's eyes filled with tears of joy. Mr. Daniel smiled proudly. Lily slowly walked onto the stage once more. The head judge handed her a beautiful certificate and announced that she had received a full scholarship to study in one of the best schools in the city. A certificate is an official document that shows someone has achieved something. Lily looked at the audience. She remembered every difficult day. The old house, the cold winters, the children who laughed at her dreams, the mysterious letter, the long evenings of practice. Every challenge had made her stronger. After the ceremony, many students came to congratulate her. One of the boys who had laughed at her in the village lowered his head. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I didn't believe in you." Lily smiled kindly. "You don't have to be sorry," she replied. "We all make mistakes. What matters is what we learn from them." The boy smiled. That day, Lily understood something important. Success is not about proving other people wrong. It is about becoming the person you always hoped to be. As the sun began to set, Lily, her grandmother, and Mr. Daniel walked home together. The road looked exactly the same as before, but somehow everything felt different. Because sometimes the biggest change does not happen in the world around us. It happens inside our hearts. Chapter 7. The Truth About the Letter. Life changed after the competition. A few weeks later, Lily packed her small bag and moved to the city to begin her new school. Everything was different. The buildings were taller, the streets were busier, the classrooms were larger than the one in her village. At first, Lily felt lonely. Many students spoke English very well. Some had studied in excellent schools since they were children. For a moment, Lily wondered if she truly belonged there. But every night before sleeping, she opened the old notebook from Mr. Daniel and read the mysterious letter again. It reminded her that every great journey begins with a single step. One weekend, Lily returned to her village to visit her grandmother. She was excited to tell Mr. Daniel about her new school. She walked into his small house with a smile, but the front door was closed. A neighbor saw her standing there. "I'm sorry, Lily," the neighbor said gently. "Mr. Daniel left the village a few days ago. He said he had one last journey to make." Lily felt sad. "He didn't even say goodbye," she whispered. The neighbor handed her a small wooden box. "He asked me to give this to you." Lily carefully opened the box. Inside was a fountain pen, a faded photograph, and one final letter. With trembling hands, she opened it. It read, "Dear Lily, if you are reading this letter, it means you have already found the courage that was always inside you. Years ago, I was a poor village boy just like you. Many people laughed at my dreams, but one kind teacher believed in me. That teacher changed my life. I promised myself that one day I would become that person for someone else. You were never chosen because you were lucky. You were chosen because you never stopped trying. Now it is your turn. When you meet someone who is afraid to dream, stand beside them, encourage them, help them believe in tomorrow. That is how kindness travels from one heart to another. Your friend, Mr. Daniel. Tears slowly rolled down Lily's face. She finally understood. The greatest gift Mr. Daniel had given her was not English. It was belief. And from that day on, Lily made herself one quiet promise. One day she would become the mentor that someone else was waiting for. Chapter 8. The Promise of Tomorrow. Years passed. Lily worked harder than ever. She studied every day. She learned new words. She read English books. She listened carefully to every lesson. Slowly, she became one of the best students in her school. Her teachers admired her. Her classmates respected her. But Lily never became proud. She remembered where she had come from. She remembered the small wooden house. She remembered her grandmother's kind smile. And she remembered Mr. Daniel's final letter. After finishing school, Lily made an important decision. Instead of finding a high-paying job immediately, she returned to her village. Many people were surprised. You studied in the city, they said. Why would you come back here? Lily simply smiled. Because someone once came back for me. The old library was still standing. Its wooden shelves were old. Many books were damaged. Very few children visited anymore. Lily looked around the quiet room. Then she had an idea. Every Saturday afternoon, she opened the library for children. She brought storybooks. She taught simple English. She played learning games. She encouraged every child to ask questions. At first, only 3 children came. The next week, there were 6. A month later, the library was full. The room that had once been silent was now filled with laughter. One afternoon, a shy little girl stayed behind after class. Her name was Emma. She looked at Lily nervously. Teacher, I don't think I'm smart. My English is bad. Everyone laughs at me. Lily smiled gently. Those words sounded very familiar. She opened her bag. Inside was the old mysterious letter. The paper had become yellow with age. She placed it into Emma's hands. I want you to keep this. Emma looked surprised. But it's yours. Lily smiled. It helped me believe in tomorrow. Now, it belongs to you. Emma carefully opened the letter and began to read. As Lily watched her, she realized something beautiful. Hope never ends. It simply moves from one heart to another. Chapter 9. The Dream Comes Full Circle. The years passed peacefully. The little library became the happiest place in the village. Every Saturday, children arrived with bright smiles and curious minds. Some came to learn English. Some came to read stories. Some simply came because Lily always welcomed everyone with kindness. The room was no longer quiet. It was filled with laughter, questions, dreams, and hope. One day, a large organization visited the village. They wanted to find teachers who were helping children in poor communities. A community is a group of people living in the same place. The visitors watched Lily teach. She did not use expensive technology. She did not have a modern classroom. She only had books, simple words, patience, and a caring heart. But the children listened to every word. Their eyes were full of excitement. The visitors were deeply impressed. A few weeks later, Lily received an unexpected letter. She had been chosen as one of the country's most inspiring young teachers. She was invited to speak at a national education conference. This time, she was not the nervous village girl standing on a stage. She was the person who inspired others. On the day of the conference, hundreds of teachers filled the large hall. Lily walked onto the stage with a calm smile. She looked around the room. Then she began to speak. When I was a little girl, people told me that my dreams were too big. They said tomorrow would never be different. But one kind teacher believed in me. And because one person believed in me, I learned to believe in myself. The audience listened quietly. Many people smiled. Some wiped tears from their eyes. Lily continued, Education is not only about books. It is about giving someone the courage to Believe that they can become more than they are today. When she finished speaking, the entire hall stood up and applauded. That evening, as Lily returned to her village, she stopped beneath the old oak tree where she had once dreamed about her future. The tree had grown taller, just like her dreams. She looked up at the stars and smiled. Then she whispered the same words that had guided her life for so many years. I still believe in tomorrow. Life lesson. Life does not always begin with success. Sometimes it begins with hope. One kind word can change a life. One teacher can change a future. One dream can change a whole community. Never stop believing in tomorrow, because today's small steps can become tomorrow's greatest achievements. Thank you for listening to The Girl Who Believed in Tomorrow. If this story inspired you, remember this. Your future is not decided by where you start. It is decided by whether you keep moving forward. Chapter 10. Many years later. 10 more years passed. The small village had changed. New houses were built. The old roads became wider. More children went to school than ever before. But one place never lost its special feeling. The little library. It had become a learning center where children came every day after school. Its walls were covered with colorful drawings, English words, and inspiring quotes. Above the entrance, there was a simple wooden sign. It read, "Believe in tomorrow." People from nearby towns often visited the library. They wanted to see the place where so many children had learned to dream. One sunny afternoon, Lily was organizing books when a young woman walked through the door. She looked familiar. The woman smiled warmly. "Do you remember me?" Lily looked carefully. Then her eyes became wide. Emma! It was the shy little girl who had once believed she was not smart enough. Emma was no longer a frightened child. She had become an English teacher. She had returned to thank the person who had changed her life. Without saying a word, Emma hugged Lily. "I was ready to give up," Emma said softly. "But you believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. And now, I teach children just as you taught me." Lily's eyes filled with happy tears. At that moment, she realized that kindness never disappears. It grows. It travels. It changes one life after another. That evening, Lily walked to the old oak tree behind her grandmother's house. The same gentle wind moved through its branches. The same birds sang their beautiful songs. She closed her eyes and remembered everything. The poor little house. The mysterious letter. Mr. Daniel. The speech competition. The scholarship. The library. Emma. Every difficult moment had become part of a beautiful journey. Lily looked toward the sunset and smiled. She finally understood the true meaning of tomorrow. Tomorrow is not simply another day. Tomorrow is hope. Tomorrow is courage. And tomorrow is every new chance that we choose to believe in. And as long as we keep learning, keep helping, and keep believing, tomorrow will always be brighter than today. Final message. The Girl Who Believed in Tomorrow teaches us that your future is not limited by your past. Dreams grow through hard work. Kindness creates new kindness. And one person who refuses to give up can inspire generations to come. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story and learned new English words, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to English Horizon, and continue learning English through inspiring stories. Remember, every tomorrow begins with the choices you make today.